This week we're going to be meeting a student of mine who left a job as an engineer earning £60,000 a year, and he went on to make £165,000 in his first year in business. On this week's show, we're going to be meeting Patrick, everybody. And Patrick used to earn £60,000 a year, which is an amazing salary. However, he decided he wanted to become a businessman and he stepped out. I trained him, I worked with him, and in his first year in business, banked over six figures, actually £165,000.
Yeah.
Good job, man.
Thank you.
Really, really good job.
Thank you very much.
So talk to me about what happened. Come on, because you were working as an engineer. What was your job like?
Yeah, my job, I actually enjoyed my job. But the problem was, I felt like I was 20, about 27, 28 at the time, and I reached a point where the salary was not going to get any better than what it was.
Yeah, so what was your job? What were you doing?
So I was an engineer, and we specialised in emissions controls in, let's just say, London city centre. You've got the low emission zone.
Yeah.
I was one of the lead engineers who implemented that on a wider scale across the world, actually. We did Hong Kong, in Israel, Scandinavia, and London, Germany, Spain, everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Cool. And that was based locally. So you live in, where do you live?
Just outside of Hull.
So you live just outside Hull, and you were working locally, and you had a very comfortable life.
Yeah.
Making 60 grand a year, very comfortable, moving up the company, but that wasn't enough.
No, I was actually in the process of, go through pay rises. I was always trying to push for more, as you do, and I was quickly reminded that I was just an employee.
How? Come on, tell me how that happened.
So what happened was, my direct manager at the time, we had a meeting, a bit like what we are now, and just said, this is what value I bring to the company, this is what I think I should be worth, and we had a bit of a mutual agreement. Now, this went up to a finance director, as it does in any big company, which I know now, but being a bit naive at the time, I was more thinking, well, if I'm worth it, then surely that'll be paid for it. And I was quickly stamped out, and it all come down to the colour of my collar. And what I mean by that is you got white collar workers and blue collar workers. And because I was an engineer, the finance director kind of just said, it's not going to get much better than this. So
they literally said to you, because you're on the floor, so to speak, you're on the engineering level, which is, like, don't get me wrong, this is a skillful job, what you do. This is not, he's not like just banging away with the spanners and hammers every day. He's actually a skillful engineer that takes qualifications.
Yeah.
But because of that position and because of the hierarchy within the corporate world, you were never going to get above X amount per year.
It's not the director's fault, it's just the way society has been built. And that was the penny drop moment for me.
What was the ceiling price for your level, where you're at? What was the ceiling price?
It probably is that now.
Was it 60k?
Yeah, 60 to 65. It's all overtime based and working all the hours God sends, and that's what I was happy to do.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for being stopped in my tracks like that, I'd probably be doing that now.
So in retrospect, that meeting done you a favour.
Yeah.
Because it was like your wake up call.
I know that now, but at the time, I was cussing for a few days about it and thinking, what can I do next? Probably looking at other jobs, and then I just thought, it ain't going to be fractionally more, fair enough. But I need to think about the long term. Yeah,
because you've got a family, you've got children.
Yeah. And then at the same time, my daughter was born. We're going back like 3.5 years now.
Yeah.
So around the time of when my daughter Eden was born, that's when the companies was formed, and then we started to get into property. It's just since then I've just never looked back. So it's just been great. Yeah.
So you were in this corporate sort of engineering type job, but you were quite senior. Yeah. You weren't like getting filthy dirty every day. You were working more on computers and things like that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And you were doing very well, but there's a ceiling to that, and you're not going to get any further. Many of the people watching this are in the same situation.
Yeah,
they're the exact same situation. No matter what they do in their job, they will never get above that certain pay grade.
No, correct.
But yet they give everything. How many hours a week were you working?
We was doing 60 to 65. That was for that company. But on top of that, to formulate a plan and get out of it, you had to then add your own business hours to doing what you was dedicating in your personal life. So that 65 all of a sudden turns into 85, 90.
Yeah, because you're working your job and then you're working 20, 30 hours a week on your side
think
hustle to get out.
When we first started together, I think the work that I did for you was actually weekends and late nights, because I didn't have any other opportunity to do that.
The thing is, mate, the reality is this, guys, right? If you want to make any money in business and you're using your job as an excuse, you'll always be using your job as an excuse. It's always going to be there. So you have to do something to get you away from that job, and something to create a side hustle that then becomes the main hustle, but that means sacrifice. And you sacrificed a lot. So there you are, you're earning 60k a year, very comfortable, and many people watching this would be like, what's your problem? You're earning 60 grand a year.
Or they might be thinking, well, that's nothing.
Yeah.
The Southerners will be thinking that's nothing, but where I was from, it's all right, and we had everything that we wanted: holidays and cars and faffing about with all these flash stuff.
Yeah.
I quickly realised that it was a depreciating assets,
Yeah, well,
So-
there is that. And then we meet at training, and we start sort of meeting, and you come to some training events that I'm running at the time,
Yeah.
and we start training and we start working together, and that takes you into the property world.
Yeah.
But then we worked on a one-to-one level. Go on, talk to me about that. How did that come about?
I actually called you. I'd already decided, because I've been in property. I had a couple of HMOs, I did a couple of rent-to-rent deals,
Yeah.
and I needed. So these deals make, say, I don't know, £500 to £600 per month cash flow. I realised I wanted some big ticket item sales,
Yeah.
and that comes from deal selling, shall we say, and the bolt-on packages that you can add to a sale.
Yeah.
So, but prior to knowing all that, I had a couple of. I tried to sell deals, and I remember definitively me ringing you up and saying, "Look, I've tried to sell a couple of times, and what was happening was, again, I didn't know at the time, but the potential client on the other end of the phone was taking control.
Yeah.
So I knew that I didn't want this same thing to happen again. So I rang you up and said, Alistair, I've got a call at 4:00. It's for a 6-bed conversion, north of England somewhere, I can't quite remember where. But I said, look, I need this call to go right.
Yeah.
And you quickly pointed out the first thing to do in the sales was to position yourself as if this deal is going today to somebody.
Yeah.
Do you want it to go to you or not? This
Yeah.
is the criteria.
Mhm.
And I was then asking all the questions, taking control, because the other thing, if they're taking control and asking all the questions, you're obviously on the back foot then.
Yeah, of
and you have
course,
to get
yeah.
out of that situation. So you just said basically that in a nutshell. I put the phone down and I had the conversation, and within, I don't know, an hour or two, I had £4,000 in the bank. So
Crazy.
I was like, wow, that actually worked.
Yeah, but see just for people that are watching this and don't know what he's referring to. So I taught Patrick on a one-to-one level property deal packaging. And this is where you find a property investment,
Yeah.
you then package it up nicely, and then you sell it to somebody that wants to buy a property investment, but you get paid a fee
Yeah.
for finding it, introducing them, and doing the legwork, okay? It's a very lucrative strategy. My business makes £20,000 to £30,000 a month doing so, okay?
Yeah.
And that's what I taught you to do. We worked very closely on a one-to-one level doing that. You then come to me with this problem where you were struggling to sell.
Yep.
We had that phone call. Literally a couple of hours later, £4,000 in his bank.
Yeah. So then the idea comes, I need to multiply what
Yeah.
just happened by 10, 20 times.
Yeah.
And then that needs to be my sole focus then. So going back to the job thing.
Interesting you said that.
Yeah.
That needs to be your sole focus.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. The biggest problem I see with people that are trying to do business is they've got so much going on.
Yeah.
They follow the golden coin everywhere, and actually they get nowhere. I'm glad you said you focused on that. Are you guilty of not focusing on it?
No, I commit more than anyone you know. People say to me now, so you're working less hours? I say no. I work from open eyes to closed eyes.
Yeah.
But I enjoy it.
Yeah, but that's because you're doing what you want
I've
to do.
got my best interests at heart, you see.
Yeah.
I've got my fiancée Chloe. I pay our wages for our household. I've got a daughter to think about, and so that's my sole commitment. That's the way I am.
We'll get to your family in a minute, because I imagine it's had a massive impact on their life.
Yeah.
Tremendous impact on their life, okay? Because being successful and making money, and some of you might be watching this saying, okay, you made 100 and so Patrick made in his first year £165,000.
Yeah.
That's 6 figures. It's crazy. But
This
some
is
of you might be thinking,
aside from the property portfolio as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So just
So that's
selling
on
making
top
sale-
of the property portfolio.
Yeah.
But some of you might be thinking, well, that's only 165 grand. Some of you might be watching this saying, well, my business turns over £500,000. It doesn't matter, because 165k, bear in mind, 2-3 years ago, you were earning 60k a year.
Yeah.
Now you've literally nearly 3x that.
Yeah. It's all relative to who
It's
you are.
all relative to who you are and what you do. But listen here, right? So if you can 3x it in that short period of time, now you've got time, you've got commitment, you haven't got the worry of the job. You can 10x that very quickly.
Yep.
Because you've got time to scale it.
Mm.
So I mentioned already you're making 165 grand, or you made 165k last year. What's that done for your life?
Yeah.
Knowing that money's coming into the bank, and knowing that you're consistently making 13 to 14,000 pound a month.
Mm.
How does that feel for you, as opposed to earning 3 grand a month?
You'd think, obviously it's given us some more security. There's mental security there. We don't live any different, believe it or not. And
I do believe it. I believe that.
We pump it into property. We're actively buying properties, HMOs. That's what I specialise in. And I'm actually going to start diversifying into blocks and flats and stuff like that. But
yeah.
So to answer your question, like, the only thing additional it's provided is freedom.
Yeah.
To do what I want on my own terms, which is, I think everybody wants that at some point. And being able to fulfil my ambitions as being a full-time property investor. And
so, talk to me. You mentioned your daughter. Is it Eden?
Yeah, Eden. Yeah.
Eden Property Sourcing.
Eden Property Investors, and then everything else is named after her as well.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
And your fiance?
Chloe.
Chloe.
Yeah.
What's it done for them?
Yeah, good. I think they're relatively happy. I get to take them to school. I get to take her to school every day and pick her up if I want to.
Yeah.
Which is what.
Is Chloe not a bit old to be going to school?
No, Eden.
All right, you get to take Eden to school every day. You pick her up.
Yeah.
You've got a lot more time with your family.
Yeah, it's just little things like if we wanted to say she'll go out for lunch together, and it's what I've not been able to do. I was working for 10 years as an engineer, so that was never on the cards. I'd leave on Monday morning. I could leave the country and come back a couple of weeks later. So
yeah, absolutely.
That now is worth a lot.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. So you're making money. Great job. We need to scale that now and get that to 20k a month, okay? Because that gives you the freedom and the opportunity to then spend time with children, spend time with your family, and choose what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
What is a typical day? Come on, talk to me about a typical day in the world of Patrick.
I actually get up and go for a walk for an hour.
Do you?
Yeah, because when I left my job, there was a period of time when I was frantically trying to keep busy, thinking that that's what being productive is.
Yeah.
And actually, I needed to just dedicate, because I never used to work out of a calendar in Outlook on my phone. I used to get up and do work at my job. But now, when I first left, I thought I need to structure my life now.
Yeah.
And in 2021, in summer, I decided, because we moved in 2020 and we moved to a nice area, and there's a particular golf course, and I thought, right, I'm gonna walk around it, and the amount of thinking power that gives you on a sunny day, put your earphones in, and
wait, hold on, Sonny, you live in Hull.
Well,
it's always raining up there. Whenever I go to Hull, it's always raining.
All right, so I sack it off on the days when it's raining.
Right, fine, yeah. Okay. So you're selective for that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, fair enough.
But I do try.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, it's a problem solving hour for me. Come back, I know exactly, all the emails have come in by that point.
Yeah.
And I've thought of what I need to do for that day, come back. I might have some viewings, some operational. One of my downsides is I do quite a lot of operational stuff at the minute.
So you're still working in the business?
Yeah, I shouldn't really be doing viewings. But then equally, I don't think people have a good judge of character like what I do, maybe. Or that's why
So you've got the problem you've got growing pains, okay?
Yeah, well,
the growing pains that you've got at the minute as you're trying to scale, but I know what you're doing, mate. You're holding on because you don't trust people.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I done that. I done that massively, because in order to scale a business, you have to assign responsibility, but that also means you have to let go of some of that.
I've tried it, and I've proved that if you outsource it, no one cares about your business as much as you. We all know that. So, but what I do need to do is probably take somebody on who actually works for us, so they do care about it as much as I do. That's probably the bit that I've not done.
Yeah.
But I kind of know where it lies. It's just been outsourcing it to a third party. They want the fee, they get the fee, and whatever it turns into a bit of a nightmare. I'm talking about tenants now, not necessarily sales. But yeah.
Oh, so come on, typical day, right? In the mornings, you get up, you go for a walk. That gives you your moment to plan, reflect, and think about what's going on in your life. Like, listen, it's really important that you have a good sort of morning structure, morning routine, because we live in a life of hustle bustle. We live in a life of busyness. I think in the morning when you wake up, instead of the first thing you do getting on your phone and getting into that hustle bustle, I think wake up. I've got a journal that I use, and one of my mentors that I'm working with, he makes me write down like 5 things I'm grateful for the previous day. So what happened the previous day that I'm grateful for? 5 things, I wrote them down. One of the other things is, who am I thankful for? So from the previous day, what experience or who am I thankful for that experience of the previous day? And then the third thing he gets me to write down is, what am I going to do today so that tomorrow I've got something to write?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah. So I've got these things I have to write down, and then I go through and do whatever I choose to do that day with regards to getting me ready for the day. So the fact that you get up, you go for a walk, great. Come back from your walk, have a bit of breakfast, take your daughter to school. What happens next?
Depending on the day, so I do dedicate things to certain days. But so say Monday might be a deal sourcing day.
Yeah.
We'll look for deals, book all the viewings in. And whatever comes that day might be I get some viewings, might be secure some deals, might be even selling on that day. Tuesday following up on sales and things like that, or again even selling.
Yeah.
I also dedicate a Wednesday to do project management.
Awesome, because you do project management.
I've got a lot of projects that are on currently. I've actually got 7 on at the moment.
Wow.
So I try and, rather than do them one per day, do it all on one day.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of driving, but it's a commitment that I made and a service that I
Provide.
Upsold on a sale, because I've got busy investors who don't have a build team, they don't have the time, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have experience. I just provide the full thing.
Yeah.
But it's time consuming.
Awesome. Good. So you're a busy guy. Thank you.
Yep.
You're a busy guy. There's a more for you. Thanks, guys. You're a busy guy, and but that's what comes with being busy in business. But let me ask you this: would you rather be busy in business or busy with work, as in a job?
No, 10 times out of 10, I'd always do busy with business.
You said earlier you work from when you wake up to when you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Only an entrepreneur gets that.
Yeah.
Right, they do. And I see so many people that complain they're tired or there's not enough hours in the day. Well, there is if you want there to be. And you're like a grafter, man. I see you all the time grafting and grafting and grafting. But what we need to do now, and this is where the training and further training can definitely help you. Like, the Business Academy can definitely help you. It can get you from where you're at to where you need to be, and that's systemizing and scaling your business. It really is.
Yeah.
Because at the minute you're working in your business, not on the business.
Yeah.
And we can definitely help you with that. What's the future though? What's the plan for you in the future? Obviously, I know you're going to join the Business Academy, but what's the plan for the future? I'm just kidding.
The plan for the future, now, my targets haven't really moved much away from what there was 2 years ago. I actually just want to be a successful passive property investor, passive income. The deal selling, I don't necessarily think it's going to be a long-term thing. It's literally just a function that I put
generate cash, generate money.
It's fast. We call it fast pound, don't we, to put into the slow pound businesses. And I like it. I do enjoy it, but it is time consuming. So unless 100%. I can scale it up to be hands off, then I don't see it being a hugely long term thing. But maybe like short to mid term, I think I'll do it for.
But it's a great short term sort of. I'm not going to say side hustle because it's not a side hustle. No. It's a great short term business. It's not a side hustle because it's full time. Okay.
Yeah.
And a lot of people reach out to me and ask me to teach them deal sourcing. And like, I've got no problem teaching my Business Academy members deal sourcing, no problem with that at all. But I know the effort that has to go in to make it work. You're a testament that if you put the effort in, you'll make money.
Yeah, there has to be some structure. I just wanted to add this bit in.
Yeah, go on.
I do think there's a difference between having when you go from being a deal sourcer, because we see this all the time, so you can have a deal sourcer that sells deals every now and again.
Yeah.
But I think there's a difference between that and having a sales business. And there was a point last year, midway through the year, where I think I turned a corner. And what I did, I stopped looking at my business as a sourcing company, and I started looking at the sales business. Now, you think about what I was talking about earlier. What can you add on? So you could turn a bespoke client, which is one package.
Yeah.
You could turn that into an actual sale, and then you can upsell project management. So all of a sudden, that's where the 3 times comes from.
Yeah.
And that is what I found hugely beneficial, and that's why I rinse and repeat it now.
Yeah. So I know you sent me a text a couple of months back.
I did, yeah.
And we're not going to go into detail because I know it's quite personal to you, right?
Yeah.
Unless you want to. Do you want to talk about that? You don't have to.
I can tell you. I put myself in a when you become an investor, you naturally and subconsciously think I'm going to diversify.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I diversified. Right, I suffered quite a substantial financial loss.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Over 50 grand.
Yeah. I know.
Anyway, swallowed it. Now,
that is 50 grand's a lot of money.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, it was a whole year's wages at my.
Yeah. So you've started your deal sourcing business. You're making all this money. Yeah. You then decide, okay, I'm going to diversify, and I'm going to put the money I've made into different investments. And you've done that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, something went wrong, whether it be you made the wrong choice or whatever, but something went wrong, and you ended up losing all of that money. So how did that feel?
Wow. It's dropped me to my knees, it did.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was terrible. But this was on the Thursday.
Okay.
June the 18th.
So he remembers the date, guys. Remembers the date.
Well, it haunted me, but I've managed to take control of the negative that was in it. So that was a Thursday. Moped around Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I ordered a whiteboard on the Saturday from Amazon, knowing that Mondays we're going to town on Monday.
Yeah.
And I drew 3 columns: target, actual, and daily rate.
Yeah.
And I broke down the initial loss into a daily rate.
Okay.
And I said, me and Chloe had a conversation. She said, "Oh, it's all right. We've got 6 months and we're back where we was." I'm thinking, I ain't waiting 6 months.
It's interesting. I'm just going to stop there. It's interesting that you were very open and transparent with Chloe about this.
Yeah, we don't. There's nothing to hide.
No, I agree with that. I completely agree with that.
Yeah.
I think it's really good because you had the support from Chloe there.
Yeah.
Because Chloe could have easily had lost her temper at you and said, "All right, get back to a job, go back and work."
No, she supports everything I do.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
I couldn't ask any more.
Big up, Chloe, man. If you're watching this, great job.
So, we agreed. Well, she said 6 months. I said 90 days, and I was thinking about it, thinking I ain't working weekends, so I need to break this down.
Right, fine, okay.
Yeah. So we broke it down into days of the week, and I actually did £65,000 in 48 working days, but disclaimer, I did make myself ill doing it.
Okay, that's fine. All right, fine, okay.
Just because that's the way
I get that.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm the same.
No,
I'll work like a dog if I got to get something done.
Like a guilt trip.
Yeah. I get that, but let's not brush over the fact that you made £68,000.
Yeah, 65 in 48 days.
£65,000 in 48 days.
Yeah.
Come on. Seriously.
And that's when I text you.
You did text me. You text me a big long text, and you asked me not to share it, and I've never shared it. You asked me not to share it. It's the first time I've ever mentioned it in public. And you got that. You got that money back.
It wasn't for public though.
No, it wasn't.
It was a thing from me to you, because the whole point of the message was that you could strip me of the 50k, but I had learned something that I've still got.
Yeah, 100%.
And I can use it.
I've always said that. Take away my money, I don't care. You ain't gonna take away that.
So that was it.
Same as.
Yeah. Don't want to do it again though.
No. Please don't. What is obviously we've worked together on a one-to-one level.
Yeah.
What's that been like for you?
It's been good. Obviously, your experience shines through, and nine times out of 10, any success I've had even in day jobs, I always lean on the senior guys that was above me at the time, and you're just able to get information from them and learn from your mistakes, really. And
yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, it's been great. We got on quite well anyway.
Yeah, we're similar. We've had plenty of night outs at networking events, and we've had plenty of good times out. It's great. We've had a laugh, man. We've had a laugh. We've done business together. We'll do business together. But listen, if you take anything away from what Patrick said, take the lessons. He lost over 50k by diversifying and not really knowing what he was doing, and he lost that money. He owns it. It's his own mistake.
Yeah, sure.
But he still had the skill set to go out and make more money. That's the thing. It's having that skill set, that knowledge, that information. I've been honoured. It's been my honour to work with you. It really has. You're like one of my glowing success students, and I love that. I think you're an awesome guy. I can't wait to see what you do in the future.
Yeah.
I love working with you. Can't wait till you join the Business Academy. We're going to have an amazing experience together. Anything you want to say before we call it day?
No, just if you're going to commit to something, make sure you go for it, because you're going to have to give it 110%. I think you all know that anyway. But good luck with anything in your future endeavours.
Awesome. Patrick, thank you for coming on the show. Great job. Listen, my name's Alistair Cunningham. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast, this episode, making six figures and beyond. This time next week, we've got an amazing guest on here, and he's making six figures and beyond. Make sure you stay tuned for tips, business, help, inspiration. Whatever we need, we're going to give you. Whatever you need, we're going to get. Guys, stay tuned. Make sure you're here for next week. Like, follow, subscribe. Make sure you share the heck out of this. This has been Elite Entrepreneurs by Alistair Cunningham and Patrick Welsh. Guys, connect with him. You'll love him. He's a great guy. If you want to do property sourcing, if you want to learn about property sourcing, if you want to get properties, if you're an investor, reach out to Patrick. He'll help you out. He'll sort you out. Guys, my name's Alistair. This is Patrick. See you next time.